Well, what's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing today? This is Scott Jelinek with the Ugly Truth About Real Estate Investing podcast, episode number 33. And I just wanted to take a second today to tell you guys about what we have going on today. But first, before we get into that, I want to tell you, if you have not already, subscribe to this channel, or if you are listening to it on iTunes, go ahead and leave a comment below. Subscribe to the podcast and leave a comment. Let me know where you're listening to it from so that we know who we are talking to, and it helps me to reach more people. So for today, I want to welcome on two of my freedom partners, Renee and Richard Wian, that we are celebrating. First off, we are celebrating a wholesale deal they just closed. So we are having margaritas virtually since we're not getting a chance to meet. Congratulations. I want to talk about the deal. And then second, I want to talk about your SlowFlips, because you have been crushing it with the SlowFlips by far more than most of the other people in the group. So we want to talk about what you're doing, and if you don't mind, to go over some of the numbers with it. So first off, welcome. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Great. Good job.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. All right. Doing great. So first off, before we talk about the deal, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been doing this, and what you have going on?
Well, it's been about a year and a half, I guess, that I've been doing this. And it's been really, it's been a life changer for me, really. And it's been a lot of fun too, a lot of knowledge. And I do most of it. Richard's definitely my support system, but I generally do the real estate stuff. But what else did you ask me?
That's all. Just anything about yourself and what you have going on.
Well, Richard's still working like every other day. He works on odd days. He works at the Portsmouth Coast Guard base.
Yeah. I've continued to work just to, do what I've always done, just kind of support the family. And fortunately for us, for the family and everybody, Renee has time and resources to devote to expanding our business, and it's going great. It's really going great. I'm fortunate, she's fortunate, our kids are fortunate, that we all have the time to do what we're doing right now. It's
Fantastic. So you just closed your next wholesale deal, and that was normally when we close a deal, we go out for margaritas. And so because of the world we live in right now, temporarily, I'm sure, I believe we're near the end, but nevertheless, because of the world we live in, we're drinking margaritas now through the computer. So we first off want to congratulate you on getting that deal closed. But what I want you to do, if you don't mind, is tell us about the deal. First off, where'd you get the lead? How'd the appointment go? And so on and so on.
Well, the lead came from Velocity, the marketing program that we do. And the seller's name was Butch. He had a house that his father lived in and had passed away about a year ago. And he called me, and I talked to him about the normal, like, we were discount buyers and all that kind of thing. And he was like, I really wanted to sell this house. Let's set up an appointment. Come on and see the house. So I did. And very nice guy. And it was interesting because I haven't been on a whole lot of appointments. Well, I haven't been on any appointments by myself. George was with me on this one. And he was a super nice guy, but as I was sitting in my car when we had finished and I was going back by myself to give him the offer, another investor showed up to come look at the house. And I was like, oh, that hasn't happened to me before. So I was a little nervous. And I knew that he had talked to other people. And of course, most people do that, have more than one person come give an offer. So George and I had worked through the offer. And again, like I said, George left. So I went up and talked to him myself. And he came outside, and I gave him the offer and said, normally I'd talk to you a little bit more, but I see you have someone else here, which is fine. I wanted to go ahead and give you my offer, and please let me know, what you think or where to go from here. So I followed up with him about a week later, and he said he had one more offer he was waiting to hear from, but so far he wanted to go with me. So I was, of course, excited about that. And he called me back 2 days later and said, I'm going to go with you. When can we meet and sign the contract? So, or authorize the agreement, I should say. And my daughter went with me. I'm trying to teach this business to my kids too. So my daughter went with me, and we met at the house. And I think it was a big relief to him that he was able to not have to clean the house out, because his dad passed away. It was funny because when I got the keys from him, I saw the obituary still like tacked up to one of the boards in the house, and it was like April 15th, 2019. And so it was just really like literally a year ago, his dad passed away, and he had left that tacked up there, and he had left like all kinds of furniture and everything. There was like, I mean, Gatorade bottles and cleaners. And I was thinking in this day and time, there was actually Lysol stuff. And I was like,
that raises the value.
I know. But I could just tell he's a very, very sweet person, that he was just ready to move on. You know, he didn't want anything else, didn't want to hear any more about it, wanted to make sure it all went well. So with us being in the situation that we're in, it took a little bit longer than it normally would, I think, because the courts had some closings and things that delayed us. But Scott, if you remember when I let you know that I had the house under contract, it didn't take very long for me to meet with a buyer out there. And he was very interested from the very beginning. And it all worked out that we agreed on a price as well. So that process didn't take very long at all. It was really just kind of waiting on the closing, because there were some hiccups with the small business loan. Everything is crazy right now with the banks and all that. So it ended up closing last week, in the middle of the week or so. And I picked up my check, and I picked up the seller's check on Wednesday last week, and made arrangements to meet him on Thursday, give him his check, and then get the keys from him. And it was unusual and awkward because we're both wearing masks, and and he's like a 60-plus-year-old man, so he, of course, taking precautions. And he himself had actually just about a month ago had knee replacement surgery, so he's recovering himself. But it all went very smoothly, especially for what we're going through right now. So I was really grateful for the ease of it, and I really felt like I helped him. I felt like he appreciated it, and I will definitely stay in touch with him and make sure. And he's interested too in seeing the house at some point when it's redone, because he said it was in their family for a really long time. So I know he wants to see the updates when they get finished.
Wow, fantastic. And two things. So first off, how much of an assignment fee did you make?
$10,000.
$10,000. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. That will drink too.
Thank you. Yes.
And then the second thing is, I don't know if I told you already, I ordered We Buy Houses face masks. They should be in by the end of this week. I don't have shipping on them yet when they're coming, but they said by May 1st. So that's by the end of this week. And as soon as they come in, I'll get you some. But looking forward to them. I'm not a big fan of wearing them, but apparently we have to in certain places, in certain situations. So to this day, I have not worn one because I'm kind of against it, but I know we're going to have to in certain situations. So it's going to be what it's going to be.
It makes other people comfortable. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the reason to wear it.
We have him, but he's still going to work, like I said, and he works with only a handful of people, and they're all wearing masks. So he felt like he needed to. So I got one too, but
yeah, my sister made me.
I don't wear very often.
I couldn't find them anywhere. So.
Yeah, typically when I go out, I'm the only person not wearing one. Like supermarket, post office, wherever, I'm the only one not wearing one. Yeah. And then, first off, I don't have one, but I ordered them. But I don't want to wear one anyway. I'll wear one if I have to, but I have no intentions of doing it voluntarily. But again, to make other people comfortable, if I have to, in fact, I will. So congratulations on that. That's fantastic. Absolutely awesome. I love deals getting done. There's nothing that makes me happier than deals getting done. But what I wanted to talk to you about, because you are one of our number one people crushing SlowFlips, do you mind? Do you have time? I want to talk to you about your SlowFlips.
Sure. Yeah, I love talking about SlowFlips.
Okay, so you've been in this for a little over a year now, I think, correct?
Yep.
And so we'll start off with the numbers. We'll start off with the numbers of how many SlowFlips do you own so far?
11 right now, but I'm working on 2 more.
So 11. So let's even forget the 2 more you're still working on. So you've closed 11. Yeah. You'll have 13 in shortly, but you've closed 11. And so do you mind if we go through the numbers on them? Do you even know offhand as far as how much you've paid for them on average, how much you're collecting on average, and then I want to talk to you about how it's producing in this current market environment we're in.
I mean, I have an idea. I actually have a whiteboard that's like right over there that has all of them on it and all the details of it. I don't know if I could do it by memory, but you could go pull the thing around. I can see it. It's already become like almost a full-time job just managing the houses that we have, but I happily do it because
it's going to pay way more than a full-time job.
More money off of our money than we would have been if sitting in a 401k account.
Absolutely.
We're losing money in the stock market right now.
Yep.
Believe me, I'm so happy.
You're right. You took it out right at the right time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That was amazing. It couldn't have been a better time.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
So you have 11 of them on average. What did you pay for them?
On average, probably right at or right below $30,000.
Fantastic. And on average, what are your payments coming in?
I would probably say 800.
I was going to say, about 800. There's 875. There's 695s. But right around $800 a month.
So at $800 a month, I always go through this math in my head, and it's crazy that everybody doesn't grasp this. And that's why I love you guys, because right from the get-go, you grasp it. You can obviously do math, and we're able to use a calculator. And it doesn't take rocket science to realize, holy crap, we spend 30 grand and we get back $800 a month. What else on the world can you do these kind of numbers with? And if you have no money, now I know you've been doing it different where you were using 401k money and using your own money, but if you have no money, you can still pull off the same numbers with private money. I think you've done some with private money as well, and pay it off in 5 years. And the numbers are just outrageous, and people hate it. Outside people hate it. They're like, you're going to buy a crappy house in a crappy neighborhood, and they want to tell you all the reasons why they bought this nicer house in this nicer neighborhood. The only thing they can't accomplish with that argument is what your calculator will show. Everything. They're like, no, but this was 200,000, but it's so much nicer, and I'm getting 1,400 a month. And I'm like, okay, but at $30,000 a house, let's say I only bought 6 at 180,000, and then times that by the 800. I'm like, it's not even close. You're talking 4,800 versus your 1,400.
It's mind blowing.
It's crazy. And then but then they go with the flip side to that equation is, but I don't want to deal with those tenants. I don't want to deal with the turnover. I don't want to deal with those kind of headaches. We don't have those problems. Yes, there's still problems, but there's problems even in $5,000 a month rentals. There's still going to be issues, but we don't do the maintenance. We don't do the turnover. Literally, in my opinion, and that's why I like talking to you, because you are a front runner with them in our group that has them. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I really believe if you keep up with it, you're already with 11, and your 13 is already a life changer. When you get to where that's going to bring you 60, 70 grand a year for the rest of your life. But that's just year one. We finish out year 2. What's your goals for this year?
Well, my goal prior to the virus, my goal was to have 20 by June. It's going to probably be a little bit longer than that now, but that's okay. Right now, I really only have one loan out against one of the houses. My goal is to have more outside of the 401k, so we have more of an income for me to have available to me. But I see that happening because it's like when you go through and look at, we use Navy Federal, which I really love and recommend, but like they allow you to like open as many checking accounts as you want to in your business, and you can name them all like street names or whatever, address names. And when you go through all the accounts, like I know he and I both look at it, and it's like all the money that's already just slowly accumulating in there. It's like, oh my gosh, like we already probably have enough. We're not moving anything yet, but like we probably already have enough right now to like pull it all out and buy
another one cash. I love it.
It accumulates so fast. It's crazy. It's like the difference between what little bit of money that you make in any kind of 401k instrument is just pales in comparison. And then until I bought that first one last August, Scott, it's like, and I didn't really get it, but now that I did that and started understanding the real difference in how much money that we make on that, it really is, the calculator does not lie. It is so life changing and mind blowing.
I remember when you bought your first one because that was a big deal. We went out and celebrated afterwards. And now you got 11 of them. And we obviously can't celebrate for each one. We'd be drunks. We'd be drinking way too much.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We'd be drinking too much if we celebrate after every deal. But I mean, completing that, even just that first year is insane. So where I was going is, so now you complete year 2 and say you only get to 20, right? You wanted it by June, say it takes you the full rest of the year to do it. Now you're at 20, which the way we do our math, that's $120,000 a year. And that's a low number. That's not using $800 a month. That's using $500 a month after taxes, insurance, vacancy. That's $120,000 a year forever. But that's if you stop working this year. Are you still, I mean, you're obviously young and healthy. So next year, what are you going to do? You're going to buy more. You're going to buy more. I absolutely love it. I love it because we're going to come back and do this exact same thing 2 and 3 years from now. And you're going to be like, well, I have 45 now. And we're going to do that same math. And the math is insane on the difference. What I love about it, and this don't take this as any disrespect, is that you're not anything special. You're not doing any rocket science. You don't have any crazy brain. You know what you're doing? You're actually doing it. You're actually doing what you're supposed to do. And because you're doing it, your entire future, you stay with this 2, 3, 5 years, you're going to be at a place where you're like, oh, well, we're at 200 grand a year now coming in from that. We're at 250 grand a year. And then you're going to be look back and you're like, who the hell makes 250 grand a year before you get up in the morning? And you're going to be like, why? Why did we deserve this? Why did we do it? And the answer is because you got up and did it. And I love that. And I congratulate you guys because that's the whole difference in the world. There's so many people that they know the same thing you know. We all sit through the same group. Everybody knows the same thing, but you're taking it differently. You're getting up and doing it every single day. And I absolutely love it. So I know we started talking about your wholesale deal, but I'm always so intrigued by how much you embraced the SlowFlips right from the get-go and crushing it with it. And we're just getting started. That's the best part.
Just getting started. Yes.
Just so, Scott, by the way, so we've been in rentals, for, I don't know, 10 or more years. I don't know. But they were an advantage to us. They were a tax advantage. There's all kinds of advantages, I guess, to having rentals, but I hated being a landlord. I absolutely hated it. And we actually own, well, the thing is, we don't own it. We have a rental. We sold one of our rentals. We have a rental that we actually followed the same philosophy of the SlowFlip, and we sold this rental that we still owe money on, but we sold it to a woman, and it's amazing because all of the responsibility of repairs and fixing it up and or whatever she wants to do to it is all on her. We sold it to her, and I guess it's like a rent to own type of thing, but it's not really because it was, you're buying it from us, but we're making money.
Well, it's on a land contract.
It's sold with owner financing, right?
It's the same kind of contract, but all of a sudden I'm not a landlord. I'm like, you have any problems with the house? Fix them. I'm the bank. Don't worry. Don't call me.
There's a leak under the sink? Call a plumber. Why are you calling me?
Well, I remember you always saying, like, what would you call the bank? Because if you wouldn't,
right. Would you call Bank of America and say there was a leak? No. Well, then don't call me.
It's the greatest thing ever. I'm telling you.
Do you remember that house? Do you remember that house?
Yep, absolutely. Right when you first started.
Yep. You have a house right now. It's been a rental, and you're like, "Well, I got something for you," and I was like, "What? I'm sorry."
Yep, I remember talking about it at the Christmas party.
Yep.
Richard was coming, and you said, "Talk to Richard about it because I need him to understand it." I remember.
I'm like, I can't explain it the way you can. I don't understand it. It can sometimes be a difficult concept to grasp at first, but once you understand it, it really does. It's crazy how good it is. But yeah, that house gives us $1,700 a month, and that's something that I'm talking about with you. Yep. That's it. That's not even, and that one is outside the 401k money. That is our income.
And the big question, not a question, but point I always make is, I always tell people, I said, every tall building in every city you go to, who has the tall buildings? What names are on top? Banks. And where are they getting all that money from? From financing crap. We're the ones paying it. So in this scenario, it's the exact same thing, only we're the bank. We're the ones. Other people are sending us the checks. And that's the way to be the bank.
I always like what you said, Scott, about we're not in the business of rental houses or owning real estate. We're in the business of finance because You know what? You buy from me, you pay me 30 years from now. You know what? At the end of 30 years, here's your house. Take it.
Happy to give it to them. Right.
Happy to give it to you.
Yep.
Please take it.
Yep. Slow flips are absolutely insane. Now, wholesaling I love, and that's why we started doing this video today, to celebrate your wholesale. Wholesales I love, and it makes you money today, and it's a big celebration. But in the end, slow flips are what would set you free.
One thing I wanted to tell you too, you asked earlier about how things are going in this situation right now we're in. As far, we only have we have 9 of our houses are occupied, and we only have 1 that hasn't paid yet. So
has there been any communication with them, or?
There was a few weeks ago, but not recently. So I'm not sure about that one. But you know what? I mean, she is an LLC, like she's in business for herself as well, and she has a renter. She fixed the house up and rented it herself. So I feel like she'll come around. I'm not worried about it. I'm just wondering why I haven't heard from her, but we'll figure that out. But
and if she doesn't, you're still going to be okay.
We're going to be okay.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So I don't want to keep you guys all night. So before I let you go, I want to ask you one big question. If you had to give advice to somebody brand new, just getting started, something you wanted to tell somebody who was thinking about doing this, either thinking about slow flips, thinking about wholesaling, thinking about real estate in general, or a tip getting ahead, what advice would you want to give somebody who was listening today?
You want to go first?
I mean, what came to me was you just have to get started. You can't think about it. You can't, well, you can think about it all you want to, but I mean, the bottom line is until you get started, it's a on the job training type of thing. You have to get started. You can't sit around and think, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. You have to just get started. That's where the learning begins, when you get started. I
tell people that all the time. I'd rather see you fail. I'd rather see you fail and keep going than never even start. You're absolutely right. Renee, what's going to be your big advice, big takeaway?
Well, I mean, I would say mine's the same. Like if you don't take action, nothing ever happens. I would say start with a slow flip. I would say if you can at all start today, because in 5 years goes fast. It goes faster than you think. And before you have an investment that you won't even realize until you do it. And you do have to take action to do it. But until you get there, like you don't realize how much money can be made on the money that you have or have access to. So that, as well as, you know, wholesaling is awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like I would love to wholesale more. I really would, because that's great. I love to help. I feel like it's helping people. So look for those houses out there. They're everywhere. I mean, like you always feel like, are there enough? Yes, there are enough. They're everywhere. But Richard's right. Like until you take action, make a plan and do something. Until you do something, nothing happens.
Perfect. Great advice. So before I let you go, one last thing. I want to get some cheers. I don't know where, there we go. I want to get some cheers since we got the margaritas here. Salud, congratulations. I wish I could see you guys in person. For the next deal, we'll get together in person. All right. Congratulations. Have a fantastic evening. And I hope to see you again soon in person real quick.
Yeah.
Scott,
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, you too.